The icy wind slips under Emily's scarf as she steps off the train. The station, at this late hour, is almost deserted. The few flickering lights amplify the oppressive atmosphere of this small countryside town. She tightens her coat around her and adjusts her backpack, ready to walk the 3 kilometers that separate her from home. However, as soon as she leaves the station, a sense of unease washes over her. A vague sensation she attributes to fatigue. It had been a long day, and winter nights fall quickly. She checks her phone, battery at 12%. Emily quickens her pace. The path leading to her house winds through sparse woods, lined with trees casting eerie shadows under the pale moonlight. But after a few minutes, she hears a noise, distinct footsteps behind her. She stops abruptly and turns around. Nothing. The path is empty. She takes a deep breath and resumes walking, but now her senses are on high alert. The footsteps echo again, closer this time. A shiver of fear runs down her spine. It must be my imagination, she mutters, as if to reassure herself. She grabs her phone and switches on the flashlight. The trembling beam illuminates the surroundings but reveals nothing unusual. The footsteps stop. The silence is so dense that she can hear her own ragged breathing. Yet a detail escapes her. Behind her, a silhouette blends into the darkness. At a bend in the path, she spots a parked Cara black sedan. Engine off, headlights off. It's strange. No one stops here without a reason. Her heart races. She walks quickly past it, trying to ignore the feeling of impending danger. She doesn't notice the tinted windows hiding a scrutinizing gaze. A few meters further, Emily hears the engine purring behind her. The car starts moving slowly, matching her pace at a respectable distance. She feels an intense stare on her. Panic sets in. She grabs her phone and dials her mother's number. 1 ring, then 3. Voicemail. The battery drops to 5%. The car accelerates slightly. Emily decides to leave the main path and enter the woods. She hopes the car won't be able to follow her across the rugged terrain. She runs, stumbles over roots, but keeps going. The sound of the engine fades away. She thinks she has managed to lose her pursuer. After several minutes, she reaches a clearing. She stops to catch her breath, hands on her knees, her heart pounding wildly. The forest seems eerily silent, too silent. Suddenly, a cracking noise echoes. Someone is there. She straightens up, paralyzed. The moonlight faintly illuminates a silhouette among the trees. A tall figure dressed in dark clothing, motionless but undeniably turned toward her. "A man! What do you want?" she screams, her voice broken with fear. No response. The man takes a step forward. She instinctively backs away and starts running again, her legs trembling with terror. She knows her village is not far. A light flickers in the distance, a street lamp, the first sign of civilization. She pushes herself harder, each step pounding in her head like a drum. When she finally reaches the light, she stops in front of a house. She bangs frantically on the door, shouting for help. A woman in her 50s opens, visibly alarmed by Emily's state. "Come in quickly," she says, glancing nervously behind her. The door closes with a loud click. Emily collapses onto a chair, gasping. The woman hands her a glass of water. "Calm down. You are safe here," she says soothingly. But something feels off. The woman's gaze is evasive. She seems agitated, almost panicked. Emily glances around the room. Everything seems normal, but a strange smell hangs in the air, metallic and nauseating. A dull noise resounds outside. The woman jumps. Emily does too. They exchange a glance. "Are you expecting someone?" Emily asks, her voice trembling. The woman shakes her head. Heavy, insistent knocks echo at the door. "Open up! I know she's in there!" growls a male voice from behind the door. Emily recognizes it, the voice of the man who had been following her. I can't help you," the woman murmurs, suddenly standing up. She moves toward an adjacent room, locking the door behind her, leaving Emily alone in the living room. The knocks at the door turn into pounding, the lock gives way, and the door bursts open. The man enters stall, burly, dressed in a dark coat. His eyes shine with a menacing gleam. Emily leaps to her feet, desperately searching for an escape, but the man blocks the way to the door. "You shouldn't have run," he says in an icy tone. Emily backs up until her back hits a wall. She sees a knife gleaming in the man's hand. As he steps toward her, a gunshot rings out. The man collapses, a red stain spreading across his back. The woman stands in the doorway holding a rifle. Émilie thinks it's over, but as the woman approaches, that strange sense of unease returns. "You shouldn't be here," the woman murmurs in an almost accusatory tone. Émilie steps back, shocked. Then she notices a troubling detail on the wall behind the woman. Photographs. Photos of young girls. All different, but sharing one thing: they all look frightened. Among them, a recent photo, one of Émilie, taken without her knowledge.